Welcome back everyone to Millennium Dawn Modern Day Mod. And this time we'll be looking at Millennium Dawn submods. Now, there's quite a lot of them. And remember, these are all submods, so they are absolutely not guaranteed to work with each other or at all, since they are mods of a mod. Keep this clear, and please do not type any stupid comments down below asking why your game is crashing every 2 minutes. If you're using, for example, all of these together. I'll be offering a list of all my, well, not really favorite, I have a couple of favorites, but I don't really play most of these. The ones that I think are the most interesting, I'll just show them up to you. First one is Choose Stability. Choose Stability, as you know, in Millennium Dawn you have a stability modifier every country has at the start of the game, depending on their political situation. And with Choose Stability, you can choose at the start which of the stability levels your country will actually have. So you can go from disastrous to amazing. That is, of course, to if you want to roleplay from a country that has been recovering from some kind of disaster or something like it. Or you can just leave it at default. Of course, you may notice that the game looks a little bit different. That is because I am using, in this moment, the Millennium Dawn alternate style submod, which changes the colors of a few countries to make them look a little bit better. Some of the horrible oranges that are around, for example, I believe Algeria had a weird shade of orange as its own color. It's been changed. Belarus has been switched to a nice green, Germany to a nice Prussian blue, etc, etc. There's quite a few of these colors changed. I'm sure you can recognize several of them already if you've played a little bit of Millennium Dawn, if you think it looks pretty cool. Oh, wait. Why are you there? Oh, right. You're another thing. You're for later. And yes, overall, I believe this is one of my more liked mods, although I never really use it because I kind of despise graphical mods. I know I just said I liked it, but yeah, because it just makes me confused sometimes. Then, of course, we have mods that add countries or add factions. Now, there's quite a few of them, so if you like your separatism, then these are for you. There is the Galicia mod, which adds a Galician nation who has quite a bit of conservatives, quite a bit of nationalists, quite a bit of social democrats, with a normal stability that breaks, of course, off from Spain. Starts off with, of course, I think no army, right? Oh no, it does start off with an army, actually a pretty decent one at that. And no focus tree, I believe. Oh no. No focus tree. So it uses the standard one. If you're turned off by that, I don't know. But it does have parties and, of course, leaders and portraits and the likes. So it is functional enough. Then we have the Silesian Independence mod, which adds Silesia, who has a pretty interesting guy in charge, and they're nationalist, so you can try to make Silesia the global power in Europe. They start off at extensive conscription and part of the Visegrad group, which is interesting considering they're supposed to have been spitted out from Poland, but I guess they're buddy-buddy with Poland. They're also a partially recognized state, with which Galicia actually isn't, so I guess point 1 for the Silesian mod, because I don't think the Galicia would be a majority recognized state at the UN. Then, of course, there's also the mods that add factions. Now, I believe, yes, South America is really the one that is most involved in this one. It is called Millennium Dawn Additional Factions, I believe. It adds quite a lot of different trading blocks, military alliances, and the likes to the game. Now, most of these can be sometimes thought of as a little bit well, ridiculous. For example, I don't really like this one, the SAARC. Don't know exactly what the acronym stands for, but it includes Pakistan and India, who are supposed to be fighting each other. Even though, of course, the bloc exists in real life, for the purposes of Millennium Dawn, for what these kinds of alliances are supposed to be, I don't really think that these should be around. Of course, it also expands existing factions, like the CSTO has its, actually accurate real-world members, which include Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and wait, what? Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan. I thought it was also including Uzbekistan. Although I guess in 2000 it didn't have Uzbekistan. Weird. And yes, of course, also Armenia down here. So it is more accurate with how it represents the CSTO instead of, I believe it's only Belarus, Russia, Armenia, and maybe Kazakhstan in the base game. So it does get a bit of an expansion. NATO, of course, is still here. The big one is, of course, South America, who have the Andean community, which goes from Bolivia up to Venezuela. CARICOM, also known as the Caribbean faction, for those who do not want to pronounce CARICOM, which has quite a few islands over here, like Trinidad and Tobago, Kingstown, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vitz, I believe is another one, Grenada, all of these, Dominica, all these nice little states. Of course, also Suriname, or Suriname, not sure how, it's Dutch, right? So I don't know how to pronounce that. And Guyana. So if you're going to be playing in this region and you want a bit more of a challenge when you're taking people over, I guess that's good. Also, it adds Mercosur, which will be quite the powerhouse with Brazil, Argentina, and the Guays. Next up, we have the Millennium Dawn Modern Generals submod, which of course is quite good because normally in Millennium Dawn you don't really have a lot of generals available, but this one adds quite a lot of real-world military leaders for, I believe, almost every country. The list is really quite impressive, and they also include traits for some of these, which may or may not be realistic and may or may not get the offer sued by the real general. And it also adds... what? Let me make a navy. It also adds real-world admirals as well, so it is really quite in-depth. And the thing that I best love about this mod is that it doesn't really limit itself to just the United States or Russia. It also, for example, adds generals to, I don't know, let's like, come on, let's switch to Afghanistan. It adds generals to Afghanistan. Now, some of these may be politically inaccurate because, of course, in 2000 we have the Emirate controlled by Mullah Omar and the Taliban. So maybe some of these generals are supposed to be from the post-Taliban government, but I don't know. Can't be too prickly with these kind of things. So this is definitely a nice mod if you want to, especially playing minor nations and you want to have a little bit more flavor for them. And that's always nice, of course. Then, if you will have more generals, you probably want more units. And this is exactly what the more units submod does. It adds, for the vehicle tab, self-propelled artillery and self-propelled anti-air to the game, which we're sorely missing in the standard tree. Airborne assault vehicles, so that you can outfit your paratrooper divisions with some proper airborne armor. Also, of course, something that was definitely missing in a modern day environment from the start. It also adds combat mechs, which are fairly nice, as a new upgrade of the heavy mechanized, another upgrade of the light mechanized, and some more variants down here. Another interesting little addition is in the aircraft tree, they have utility helicopters and attack helicopters. Utility helicopters are more for, of course, troop transport and stuff like that. And attack helicopters are really supposed to be the heavy hitters. They also add the respective. Let's see if we can go to the division designer. Yeah, it adds the respective battalions and brigades to these that, of course, are quite good. And of course, support helicopter gunship and attack helicopters both are pretty good little units that are quite expensive, but if you have the industry to really produce them out, why not? They also have air recon, which uses support helicopters, and that's quite nice. Wait, does it use support? Yeah, it uses support helicopters. And so that also allows you to have a pretty mobile little force. Oh, actually, it adds a template too. That's very nice of it. Very nice of it. Air assault infantry, actually. So even better. Definitely enjoyable little addition. Also, it adds new types of transport aircraft, of course, with their graphics, which is very nice because normally, well, the graphics for the big majors, which was sorely missing in Millennium Dawn. It always looked like a C-47 out of World War II, so I definitely enjoy that they added that in. New generations of actual UAVs, new generations of both fighters and strategic bombers, and also maritime patrol aircraft with their respective graphics, and of course reworked names and flavor for all of them, and of course carrier variants for multi-role fighters. And that's quite the welcome addition as well, so that you have a multi-role plane that you can put on carriers. You have a fighter plane that you can use in naval battles, and also it basically makes the multi-role an actual multi-role, so that it can you can use it for various different missions, such as, of course, close air support and naval strikes, to make it more useful. And that's also a nice addition, because in normal Millennium Dawn, multi-role fighters were not exactly multi-role. They could only fight enemy planes. Now, I believe this also does something else that I forgot. I think I forgot something. Did I forget anything? I guess not. Well, it also, of course, has more icons as well. But see, when you have that feeling like you forgot something and you really shouldn't have. Well, that's one that I have right now. It seems to expand the Navy tree further. The California class shouldn't have been in there, I think, as shouldn't be this light cruiser and this heavy cruiser. Or maybe they were. I do not know. Hearts of Iron class. That's a nice little Easter egg. Like that. Yes. What is the next one? Well, defense contractors in Singapore. Now, this mod, if we go to here, for example, you can see that there's many more designers for tanks, navies, aircraft, material, and I believe industry as well. Now, this mod started off as a Singapore and Southeast Asian overhaul mod. If we go to Singapore, you can see that they have Lee Kuan Yew as a leader, and their parties are revamped. There's also events for them. I believe no focus tree, however. And also for Indonesia, there's some more stuff for that make it a little bit better overall. But I believe also Malaysia gets some revamps. Yes, it does. So all these are very nice things. But then they decided to also revamp the selection of designers. So this includes some of the major companies that are out there producing equipment in the world. All of them with some pretty generic bonuses, but of course that's all part of the plan because none of these are actually too overpowered, which is nice. Although some are dangerously good, for example, Amber's Lane, etc., etc. All these are real companies with real... wait, Electronic Concern? That's the company that makes my... I don't even know how to say it in English. My fan, right. That's the company that makes my fan. So, yeah, you can have a fan as well. And some of these are really quite well researched, I guess, and it's kind of nice. Why is this one more expensive? I guess I get a typo. Oh, actually, because they have a lot of bonuses. And they also have descriptions stating, I guess, their role in the world. Nice. And their economic activities. That's really, really good. Yeah. So you can also learn something, and it, well, shows that they really made their research. For example, ST Engineering, we can know that it was ranked number 53 in the Stockholm International Peace Research Institutes of the world's top 100 defense manufacturers. Yeah, pretty nice. Some of these are questionable. For example, why is the China Shipbuilding Industry Corporation providing bonuses to aircraft carriers who have only... Well, I'm pretty sure they've only built one aircraft carrier. The Type 2. Which has just now been launched. But yes, so there's quite a lot of them out there. Even Fincantieri, which is based not that far off from where I live. It's right over here, and I'm here, so not too far away. And yes, so it looks like they're also kind of... in a way, some of them are definitely better than the ones that are available normally, but I guess that's kind of the point, so that you can actually use them. There's actually one that's Croatian. I guess they're the ones that made the M81 main battle tank. Even Israel Military Industries. So yes, there's quite a varied roster. Kamsky Автомобильный Завод. General Motors. Kharkiv Marazov Machine Building Design Bureau. So that's the Ukrainian one. I wonder if these require... Yes, some of these actually require... Actually seems like you can only use them... Some of these you can only use them in... Oh, no. Okay, no. Good. So they actually require you to have good relations with the country of origin. So that's nice. That's a nice touch. For example, for the Kamsky Автомобильный Завод, you need 25 opinion with Russia. For Iveco, you need 25 with Italy. So it looks like it's 25 all around, right? Except ST Engineering, which requires 61. That's because I think they're more expensive and they offer more bonuses. So it looks like also it doesn't only scale up in political power cost, but it may also scale up in the opinion required. Yeah, for example, Fincantieri, which is more expensive in political power and gives more bonuses, actually scales up with the opinion requirement as well. That's very, very nice, actually. I like it. I like it a lot. So this is definitely a nice mod to have if you want, even if you don't really care about Singapore. If you want more of that, then that's really good. Then another big one that is an overhaul is the African continent submod, which is actually the one that causes this, the movement for the liberation of the Congo and the Congolese rally for democracy, because by 2000 we're still in the middle of the Congo conflict, and the African continent submod actually overhauls pretty much everything in Africa. And if you may notice, this one is a focus tree that is unique for African countries. If we go look, this is Nigeria, but if we go to look to, for example, Cameroon, you can see that it's basically the same. And I really, really like that because, well, Africa is a place in the world right now where you have some different processes happening to Europe, so having a different focus tree is very nice. You can do some very, very weird things as well. So if you want to, I guess, have a weird game where you play some kooky African fascist, you can do that. You can also try to join the Soviet Union, like right over here, or you can form your own, of course, the Soviet Union if Russia is communist, or you can form your own faction. You can do the weird thing of joining ISIS, etc., etc. There's all these weird things. So that's nice. They're all very well integrated with how Millennium Dawn works normally, so it's actually very nice because it was well thought out. And you can also build up your own army, although of course the political tree is the one that really is going to be the big bite of the mod. And you can also create the African Union, which is very, very, very interesting. And there's a lot of various different focuses that are unique to African countries. I believe some of them may have actually unique paths themselves. No. If there was one that would have had a unique path, would have been South Africa, but they don't appear to. Okay, so that's pretty nice. I wonder if they added anything for the Western Sahara. I do not know. Yes, also Libya appears to have the same focus tree, and perhaps Egypt as well. Yes, okay. So really the entire African continent does get that. Does Madagascar? It does. Does the Comoros? Comoros are over here. Do they get the same? Yes, they do. Interesting. And what about you? Seychelles? They do. Very nice. So it's actually very... Yep. It's very far. I like it. This is exactly what I like in the mods. Sao Tome and Principe. Yes, they do. Very cool. Can you unite the African Union? I wonder. African Union Military Alliance. Nah, you cannot. Well, that's, I guess, more realistic. Although, I believe in the Formable Nations mod, which might work with Millennium Dawn, you do have the option of forming the African Union. Not sure. Might be wrong. Then there's mods that add focus trees to existing countries. One of them is the Spanish focus tree, Submod, which is quite heavily influenced in a way by the Italian one. If you recognize the layout, it's a bit like the Italian one. Let me show you the Italian one. You can see that the the left part of the focus tree has its diplomatic things, then the industrial, and they're really quite similar, both of them, but really where the similarities begin to become quite clear is the political part, where you can restore fascism, restore the monarchy, do European stuff, or you can do on our own and try to leave the EU. Well, it's very similar with Spain. You can do fascism, monarchy, European cooperation on our own. So as you can see, it is very, very similar. But at the same time, that does not mean it's bad. Because one, the Italian one works fine. Two, they managed to make it more Spanish feeling by adding quite a lot of very, very cool icons and such like that. So you can also just kind of feel like you're in the middle of Spain. You can also do some pretty nice stuff. For example, trying to puppet France, attack the United States, just do a bunch of weird things with the colonies. The ex-colonies of Spain, you can try to puppet them, or you can try to essentially sort of make them your own puppets by peaceful ways. And that's kind of nice. And you can also do investments in Africa and such and such and such. So that's a nice little focus tree. It, of course, might get bugged out by the fact that Galicia is over here. That might... yeah, enforced cultural union in Galicia. Sure. That is going to work. Then we have the South Korean focus tree mod. Is it South Korean focus tree mod? I think it's called South Korea focus tree, which, of course, adds quite a lot of bonuses towards South Korea, and also quite a lot of options. For example, you can try to destroy North Korea, you can try to do a peaceful unification, you can try to befriend China or America. South Korea is best Korea, of course. And of course, South Korea being a global economic powerhouse, the economic tree seems quite extensive as well. Then, of course, just a very tiny military tree tops it all off with a bit of a cherry on the cake. Also, it adds quite a few national spirits to South Korea. For example, the South Korea financial crisis, which has been going on since 1997. National security law, which is, of course, supposed to hinder North Korean activities in the South, and such and such and such. Also, I believe it may revamp, for example, the Korean Navy. I don't remember a Korean Navy existing in Millennium Dawn by default, but I might be wrong. Yeah, I think it does not add anything with the states, but that's fine. So that's just a nice little focus tree. Then we have the, no, not here. Maybe Sweden? Or maybe it's not working. No, yes, okay. The Scandinavian Tree mod. That, of course, Scania can be free. So you can give independence to Scania and make it a meme. But I guess that's fine. Whatever. So, of course, quite the extensive one. Some of them interesting, some of them not. But, of course, all of them quite well integrated with Millennium Dawn. And wow, what the fuck is that? Well, forget that ever happened. And yes, there's quite a lot of icons also that look pretty cool, except for these ones. Of course, this one is supposed to be a little bit of a joke anyway. So yes, it seems like you can be very, very aggressive with this one. Yeah. Revenge for Karl XII, so you declare war on Russia. Should have been named Revenge for Poltava, but whatever. Take China too. Yeah, okay. I definitely like this one. It's pretty ridiculous. So yes, if you want to play Sweden and you want to be the Swedish Caliphate, yeah, I guess that's a mod for you. Don't do that, please. Then, of course, you might have noticed all throughout here, all these portraits look different. This is called Leader Portraits mod, that try to make the portraits for these leaders a little bit more like normal Hearts of Iron 4. So, yes, making them, for example, a little bit more stylized instead of actual real pictures. So you can see Ida Izetbegovic over here looks like that, and Milosevic, why? Oh, I guess Serbia is immune to that because Serbia is a meme. So no Milosevic in the stylized form. What about? Right. Why are you like that? I think you may have been one of them that were left out. I don't think I have a Turkey submod on, so no. What about Assad? Yes, we have Hafez being like that. Saddam, Khomeini, Nurotan. Putin looks a little too old for 2000, but that's fine. Hu Jintao. Oh no, that's Jiang Zemin. Jiang Zemin looks pretty nice, and so does Obuchi. Of course, Kim Jong-il looks weird. What about Philippines? You're still normal. And what about you? You look pretty okay. Li Tenhui. Mullah Omar, also one of them meme commanders that does not get the treatment. And King Salman? Abdullah, right. King Salman is the one that's right now in power. Yeah, all of these look pretty... Wow. This one looks interesting. So yes, some of them are different, some of them are not. That's all nice. Are there any more? See, this is why I made a list, but I got confused. Well, yes, there was one more. Right, I had forgotten. If we go ahead and quit and go back in, this may crash, actually, because I have all these submods loaded. But there is one called the Millennium Dawn Trump and Brexit Edition, which adds a 2017. Why is this? This is a national anthem. I do not know which one, though, that's playing. Oh, God. Which adds a 2017 scenario on the 20th of January, which is the day of the inauguration of Donald Trump. That adds, of course, Donald Trump's America with Trumpism as a national spirit, adds Xi Jinping as leader of China, of course, all the current world leaders, even including Theresa May, of course, and yeah, there's Brexit, and it adds events, and I believe it also adds things for the French election as well. I hope it does. Let's see if it loads without crashing. Okay, let's not click anything because it is going to crash the game 100%. Let's see. What about you? Oh, let's tack to France because I want to see the party leaders. For example, you have Sarkozy. Well, you do have En Marche with Emmanuel Macron, although at this rate you won't be winning the election at all unless there's an event for it. As there is, I believe, events for the elections, even if you're starting from, for example, 2016 to elect Donald Trump and to have Brexit happen. And you do have La France Insoumise with Mélenchon on the left. And what about the nationalists? You have Soral, and you have Marine Le Pen as the Front National leader. So yes, you do have things for the French election as well. I don't think it actually changes any of the focus trees for any of the countries, but what it does do is it adds events and national spirits to more accurately represent what's been happening in the last few years in Millennium Dawn. Of course, this one, especially out of all of them, wow, that is impressive. It actually changed the Galician one. It changed the leader of Galicia, I'm pretty sure. Wait, is that the same guy? I think it changed the leader of Galicia. That is incredibly impressive. So it means that these two are integrated, I think. But yeah, it also adds, of course, more accurate leaders like Aleksandar Vučić for Serbia, and of course Gentiloni for Italy, etc. All of these different leaders that have been elected recently. I believe also Poroshenko, yeah. Putin's still here. Wait. Oh, right. There's also Novorossiya in Donetsk and Luhansk, because of course that's been happening as well. Crimea is part of Russia. What about South Ossetia? You're still normal. There's the Islamic State, of course, being around. Kurdistan is around. I don't exactly approve of the fact that it's unified, but can't really do too much with Millennium Dawn anyway. There's no Free Syrian Army though, so I guess that could be changed as well. There's Mr. Abadi down here. What about Saudi Arabia? You look pretty normal. You're still part of the Peninsula Shield Force, are you? Yes, you are. Good. So it looks like all these factions are pretty much the same. And who's that? The Axis of Resistance. I believe that is a faction with Iran. Yes, it is. So it adds that faction as well. It adds the Guam, which is an anti-Russian sort of little bloc. I'm not sure if that's from the 2017 Trump and Brexit edition or if that is from more factions. And more factions adds it to the 2016 and 2017 scenarios, because UNESCO definitely isn't from more factions. They're supposed to be in Mercosur in the 2016 scenario as well. But still, all these... Well, there's also Shinzo Abe, if you want to, as Japan. And of course, everybody's favorite, Kim Jong-un. What about Korea? You don't have Park anymore. So do you have the correct leaders? Is the tech core? Yes, it is. You have, for example, Moon Jae-in. Yes, you do. You do have Moon Jae-in, and all these leaders for South Korea. I wonder if there's an election event. The next elections are scheduled a little bit later than what they're supposed to happen, but I guess that's fine. So all these mods, remember, the link will be in the description, but they may not. Of course, you can see that also down here. Congo's a little bit more united under the sun of wait, no, hold on, is this Kabila the sun, or is this Kabila the this one is the sun? Yeah, anyway, so all these mods not guaranteed to work together. Also, of course, down here there's South Sudan, because that's independent now. None of them are guaranteed to work together, but all of them singularly are very nice. Just experiment with them. The links will be in the description. Of course, the credit goes to the people who made the mods and not to me, because I am only showcasing them. So I want to thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope you'll try out these mods, and I'll see you soon.